Hey guys, it's Mallory here with All About Cats, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 best cat scratchers you can buy. In order to make this video, I spent some time learning more about cat scratchers. So I learned about the different shapes and sizes of cat scratchers available and how well those tend to resonate with cats. I learned about the different materials that are available. And I learned about some of the top products and read quite a lot of customer reviews. And based on that research, I identified these 5 scratchers as some of the best on the market, purchased them, and then over the last few weeks I've been testing them out in my home. So that meant that I opened up the boxes, did any assembly necessary, and then watched my cats using them. In addition to taking notes on how my cats responded to each of these scratchers, I did a little bit of testing, so I took some meat claws inspired by the cat scratcher review on Wirecutter, and I scratched the scratching posts myself, each for the same amount of time, in order to see how much they were damaged and get a sense for how durable they were. So based on this research, testing, and in-home experience with these scratchers, I'm going to be telling you what I thought of each of these top 5 scratchers and talking about which types of people and cats I think are going to get the most out of each of them. So stay tuned to learn more about all 5 of these top scratchers. So our number 1 recommendation is not going to come as a surprise if you spent any time in the cat community on forums and talking to other cat people. It is the Pioneer Pet SmartCat Ultimate Scratching Post. So this is a large, robust cat scratcher that measures 32 inches in height. Because the scratcher is so tall, your cat can really reach up as they're scratching on it. And that's going to be beneficial in terms of stretching out their muscles and getting a little bit of activation there. It's a great option if your cat enjoys reaching up to scratching on vertical surfaces. So if your cat is one to scratch curtains or reach up when they're scratching the sofa, for example, this could be a good option for them. It has a pretty sturdy design and a 16-inch base, and it doesn't seem prone to toppling over even if your cats are pretty aggressive with it. So the sisal fabric material that is used in the scratching post gives you a few benefits over traditional sisal rope. This woven material is much more long-lasting than sisal rope, and it also tends to feel a little bit better on the claws. So your cat is easily able to run their claws along the entirety of the scratching post if they want to, and it's a more smooth feeling on the claws compared to the lumps and bumps of a sisal wrapped post. So in general, I would recommend a sisal fabric scratching post like this one over one that has a sisal rope wrap. So when I took my plastic claws to the scratching post, I found that the post did a lot more damage to the claws than the claws did to the post. I might have noticed a little bit of wear on the sisal fabric, but not much. It was very hard to tell if I was actually making any impact on the post whatsoever. Compared to the other scratching posts that I tested out, this was the one that experienced the least wear when I tested it out with those meat claws. Now, when it came to my cat's reaction to this post, I honestly didn't ever see them using it. My cats just didn't seem all that interested in this post. That being said, with over 17,000 customer reviews on Amazon and a nice 4.7 out of 5-star rating, I know that a lot of other cats enjoy this scratching post. So if your cat is one who needs a robust, long-lasting scratching post that will enable them to get that nice vertical stretch, then I would definitely recommend the SmartCat Ultimate Scratching Post. It seems like a really well-made option. That being said, it's probably not going to be the best choice if you don't want to spend a lot of money right now, as it costs $49.99. It's one of the most expensive scratching posts you can buy right now. Now, my next recommendation is another one that gets a lot of customer reviews and a lot of people are talking about it. But in contrast to the SmartCat post, it's going to be a good option for cats who like to stretch out horizontally. So it is the PetFusion Ultimate Scratcher Lounge. So this scratcher is made from recycled cardboard held together with a non-toxic corn-based glue. It's a nice, generously sized scratcher measuring 34 inches long and 10.5 inches wide. It gives your cat plenty of space to stretch out as they're scratching, and as the name suggests, it can also serve as a lounge, a place for your cats to hang out. Now, when you think about cardboard scratchers, you might imagine something that's not going to last very long, that's going to be ripped to shreds quite quickly. But surprisingly, the PetFusion Ultimate Lounge tends to last for a pretty long time. Of course, I was only trying it out for a couple of weeks, but customer reviews indicate that it has an average lifespan of about 2 years. In my test with the plastic meat claws, I found that it held up surprisingly well. Later in this video, you're going to see some other cardboard scratchers being tested in this way, and they were much more damaged by the 1-minute test. And remember, 1 minute of being scratched with these meat claws is probably equivalent to at least a couple of months of use with a real cat. Cat's claws are significantly smaller, and they're going to do a lot less damage. But what we can tell from this test is that this scratcher is significantly more robust than your typical cardboard scratcher. And when your cat does finally rip up one side of it, you're going to be able to flip it over and use the other side. Now, how did my cats react to this scratcher? Well, I used some of the included catnip to try to attract them to it, but they would really just rub on it and roll around on it, and I never saw either of my cats actually using it with their claws. So while I think they were attracted to the shape of this scratcher and enjoyed having it around, they weren't using it as a scratcher. My experience is not necessarily representative of the average experience. I know that a lot of cats absolutely love this scratcher. So who should get this scratcher? Well, I would recommend it to someone who's interested in a nice, robust cardboard scratcher, especially if you already know that your cats like this texture on their claws. And I would also choose it if your cats like to stretch out horizontally rather than going up. And I would also consider it if you're looking for something rather aesthetically pleasing. It has a pretty cool design. It's available in a couple of different colors, and I think that it looks pretty nice. The scratcher costs $49.95, so again, it's not exactly cheap, but if you're interested in making the investment in this kind of cool cardboard scratcher, it could be a good choice. So our next recommendation is probably the most traditional looking of the scratchers we have in this lineup. It is the Midwest Homes Grand Forte Tall Scratching Post. So this is recommended as our favorite tall scratching post. It's going to be a good option if your cats really like to get a good stretch. Maybe you have a large breed cat who really needs a lot of space to stretch out, or you have a cat who likes to climb their scratching post. In either of those cases, this is going to be a good option. Again, this is made from sisal rope, which seems to be a little bit less comfortable under the claws, and which lasts for a slightly shorter period of time than sisal fabric. But I know that some cats are very attracted to this type of scratching post. If your cat started out using a sisal rope scratcher, then it would be a good idea to stick with them, as cats tend to like to scratch the types of surfaces that they were first trained to scratch on. Again, this is a really tall scratching post measuring 41 inches tall. It has this nice 19-inch base, which helps to make it pretty stable. It's capable of staying upright even if your cats are really jumping against it or climbing up it. It tends to be able to stay upright, and it's not going to topple over in most cases. In addition to this nice soft bottom, it also has a soft faux fur top. It makes it a comfortable lookout spot for your cat, so it doubles as a nice little perch that they can use to look out the window or just survey the home from above. So in my 1-minute test with the plastic claws, definitely saw some little particles of rope coming off of the scratcher and dropping down onto the base. That being said, it's probably going to be a lot more durable than a cardboard scratching post. Based on the customer reviews that I've read, it seems to last for a pretty long time. One of the nice things about using sisal rope is that you can rewrap your scratching post once it's been used for a while, and so that makes it a pretty economical long-term solution. Now, as for how my cats responded to the scratcher, this was actually the only one that I saw my cat Wessie using. That being said, he preferred to use the soft faux fur at the bottom of the scratcher, so I definitely was seeing some damage after just a couple of weeks of use there. He didn't seem to be using the sisal rope, and I didn't see Forrest using the sisal rope either. So overall, if you have a cat who likes to stretch up when they scratch and needs a nice tall scratching post, if you have a cat who you know really enjoys sisal rope, and if you're interested in something that can double as a perch, then I would recommend the Midwest Grand Forte Tall Scratching Post. The scratching post costs $44.99, so again, it's a pretty significant investment, but it certainly could be worth it for some homes. Now, on the opposite side of the size spectrum is our favorite small scratcher. So this is the Catit Scratcher Board Lounge, which is one of Catit's series of cardboard scratchers in a variety of shapes and designs. So this little scratcher measures 17.5 inches in length. A lot of people really like this scratcher, but how well does it actually work? So in my plastic claw test, I found that there definitely was some pretty significant wear happening after a minute of scratching with these big, beefy plastic claws, significantly more than I was seeing on that PetFusion scratcher lounge. So they might look similar. It might seem that the only difference is size. In fact, this Catit scratcher is significantly less durable. My cats didn't seem all that interested in this scratcher for some reason. I think that Forrest might have used it a bit as I noticed some damage on it. She must have been scratching on it when I wasn't looking. But overall, I don't know that it was one of their favorites. Again, my cats just didn't seem all that interested in the scratchers that I was trying out. So at $15.09, this is a moderately priced scratcher. You're probably going to be replacing it every 3 or 4 months. So the cost could add up over time, but if you're not willing to make a really big investment in a cat scratcher right now, it could certainly be a good option. Now, our final recommendation is the best budget scratcher. So if you're looking for a scratching post that costs less than $10, I would recommend PetMate's Fat Cat Big Mama scratcher. So one of the nice things about this scratching box is that it's not just a scratcher. It comes with a toy, some catnip, and it has tassels on all of the corners that maybe your cat would be interested in playing with. The scratcher itself is reversible, so you can flip it over once it gets damaged, and according to customer reviews, it tends to last for a few months before you're going to have to buy a new one. The scratcher measures 17.5 by 9 inches, so it's a relatively small scratcher, but it's going to have enough room for most cats who like to scratch on the ground. Now, in my clawing simulation, this was definitely the least durable of the scratchers I tried. I think that it ended up a little bit more damaged than the Catit lounge. Not sure exactly what the difference there is, but overall it seems to be a little bit less durable than some of the other cardboard scratchers on the market. That being said, perhaps it was this lack of durability that made my cat Forrest like it so much. This was, of all the scratchers I tried, the one that I saw her using the most. So when I put the catnip on it, she became interested in it and she started scratching on it, and it became her regular scratching spot for the weeks that I was trying it out. So overall, this was the scratching post that I think was received the best in my home. So at $9.99, this is the cheapest cat scratcher on this list and is going to be a good option if you don't want to drop a lot of money on a cat scratcher right now. So that's about it for our review of the top 5 best cat scratchers you can buy. So if you're still kind of overwhelmed and you're not sure which scratcher is going to be a good choice for your cat, I would start asking questions about your cat's personality and behavior and background. So it's been my experience that cats will typically want to scratch surfaces similar to the first ones that they started scratching when they were young. So maybe your cat started out on a sisal wrapped scratching post and they like reaching up to scratch, or maybe your cat's like Wessie and their first experience with scratching something was a rug and they're going to prefer the texture of carpet. So watch your cat, think about the things that they tend to dig their claws into, and then try to mimic that with your designated scratching area. I'll include a link to an article on how to get your cat to stop scratching items around your home in the description, and of course you'll also see links to all of the products mentioned here as well. There will also be a link to the written version of this review, which goes into more detail on the products mentioned here, as well as more information on scratching posts, the different types of scratching posts available, and how to get your cat to use a scratching post. If you found this video helpful and you're interested in more buyer's guides like this one, product reviews, and information on all things cats, please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you'll never miss an upload. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!